One of the most innovative features introduced with the Maschine Jam is snapshots. The idea is that you can just hit the lock button, and then from that point on, mess around with as many parameters as you like on any of the instruments or tracks, cause as much damage as you want. For instance, here I'm messing around with the drums, but when you've done too much, hit the lock button again, and everything will go back to normal. And that was great for internal projects, but you couldn't use the snapshot functionality with external synthesizers. However, starting with Maschine version 2.6, native instruments added the ability to send MIDI CC messages to synthesizers. So if you put 2 and 2 together, or more like 2.5 and 2.6 together, you get the ability to have snapshot functionality with external synths. Let me show you how to get that up and running. I'll start a brand new project and select a sound that I want to use. Make it a MIDI controller. Choose the circuit, which is the first synth I want to control, and I'll choose channel 10, which is the channel that the drums are on. And now the challenge is to find which CC controls which parameter. Now you can look in the manual, but there's an easier way. If you hit MIDI learn and then pick the knob that you want to control, again, all this of course is assuming that your synth can receive and send CC messages, then the software will tell you which CC controls that knob. In this case, it's 14. So I go into my controller and change it to 14. And that's pretty much it. Now I have full control using the touch strip of the synth parameter on the circuit. Let's go ahead and set up another one just to do this again, show you how easy it is. I'll add a controller, set the CC to just anything, doesn't matter. Go and learn which knob I want to control, and that's CC15. And then go back to my knob and then set that to control CC15. Now I can go on and on. I know the next ones are 16 and 17, so I'll just do that quickly so that for the sake of this demonstration, we have 4 macros controlling 4 parameters on drum track 1. I can also rename the parameters. They don't have to be CC14. I know this one controls pitch. And I don't want to waste time now renaming all these macros. I think you get that idea. Once we do that, we actually have bidirectional control. So I can move these sliders. Look at the lights on the circuit. They correspond with any change that I make on the touch strips. And that's why I chose to demonstrate this with the Novation circuit, because of those lights next to the macros. They show you very clearly how the parameters are being affected, but you can use any other synth that accepts MIDI CC messages as well. Okay, I'll load up the complete project that I prepared earlier. And here you can see every macro is assigned and labeled properly. And we'll get to snapshots in a bit. Just a quick word. This works with any Maschine product except the Mikro. Since version 2.6, Native Instruments added the lock functionality across the line, across their product line. Notice also once MIDI learn is affected, I can move the knobs on the circuit and they'll transmit CC messages back to the jam, and it will reflect the status of each of the parameters with the lights next to the touch strips. Now, if you hit Shift Lock, you can see all your snapshots. I spoke about this in my review of the Maschine MK3. Let me clear all the snapshots so that we can start fresh. You can save up to 64 parameter snapshots. Once you find what you like, just hit the pad and you've saved a lock state. Hit it again, and now I have 3 positions, and you can see how the parameter morphs as I move around between the snapshots. Now you can go nuts with this. I'll clear my snapshots. You can actually morph as many parameters as you like. Now look at the circuit LEDs as I set and then swap between these various positions. Notice how they morph from one into the other, to the third, to the fourth, completely synchronized. Now, if I'm not happy with the morphing speed, I can always change it or completely turn it off if I like. Set it to off, and then from that point on, the transitions will be immediate. Again, note the quick sync with the circuit. Now I've gone ahead and mapped all the parameters of the circuit, the synths, there are 2 of them, and the drums, and I've color coordinated them. And that's great, it works, fantastic, as you can see here. But what about controlling analog gear that doesn't accept MIDI CC? So here I've set up on sound slot 5 2 macros that go through the BeatStep Pro that sends control voltage to the Moog Mother 32. Now, to make things slightly more complex, the BeatStep Pro can't accept MIDI CC as a means of generating control voltage. It needs to get pitched notes. So the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to use software called Bohm MIDI Translator Pro to take MIDI CC from the Maschine software, convert it to notes, then send that to the BeatStep Pro, which in turn will send control voltage to the Mother 32. Here's a snapshot of the MIDI Translator Pro configuration. I'm going to do a whole video about this, so I won't go in depth. If you have this software, you can copy it now. If not, I'll explain this in a future video. So hit subscribe and follow the channel, and we'll talk more about this later. The end result is that this macro now controls the Mother 32's filter, and this macro controls resonance. And I can play with them as I wish. Now it's really just voltages coming out of the BeatStep Pro into the Mother 32's CV patch bay. I can take a cable out, let's say I'll take the resonance out and plug it into the mixer, and now this macro controls the mix between noise and the main oscillator. This one still does filter, you get the idea. I'll plug this back into the resonance control. And once we have the macros set up the way we like, we can basically use them in a song alongside the other macros. So let's see what's going on here. I've got the circuit going into this channel. Let me lower it down and bring it back up. And the Mother 32 coming into this channel. I didn't program any sounds, by the way, into the Maschine software. I could do that. Everything you're hearing is coming just from the circuit and the Mother 32. And if I hit the lock button, I can start messing with parameters on both synths. And when I've sufficiently destroyed my sound, hit the lock button again, and everything goes back to normal. The bouncy lines, by the way, are automations coming in from the circuit. And that's pretty much it for this time. If you like this video, please hit like. If you want to see more, click subscribe. Thanks for watching.